we've just beaten Crystal Palace. I never thought I'd actually say that today. I thought we were going to lose. I don't know why, but I just had a feeling. But we've come out with 3 points. What a way to do it.
Thank God. I can find myself saying that a lot every time we win this year, but I at least understand now. It's the first few weeks under Graham Potter, like it's not going to be easy, but it's about just getting results while we can and just moving forward, because we don't really know what this team's capable of yet. Thank God for that Conor Gallagher winner, because that game was screaming draw before we even walked into it. But yeah, I don't really know where we saw any improvements so far, but it's still early days. The defence was at least solid. The midfield is just a massive step back from the Salzburg game, but to be honest, we need that slap back to reality, because there is a golfing class between the Australian League and the Premier League respectively, and at least we're able
The Austrian.
Salzburg?
Not the Australian.
The Australian. But yeah, exhausted. But Austrian League, the big difference between the two leagues, and even though we drew, you could see a golfing class between the two sides. Now we're playing a Premier League side. That midfield still has its same problems. There's no creativity, and even in the attack, it's just the same old problems. Jorginho was poor, and we kind of looked better when he came off, in all honesty. Kovacic didn't bring any creativity. Mount didn't bring any creativity. Just relied on moments of brilliance from Aubameyang and even Sterling, but Sterling wasn't really at his best either. There was still too many touches when we were in the final third, but I would expect that lack of confidence because we've had a terrible start to the season. At the very least, we've got a win now. It's rare, but we have a win. We've got tough games coming up, and it's just about bringing it into the Milan game, I guess. But yeah, at least we got a win. At least we did.
What do you think about going back to Kovacic? I mean, he's a really popular player among the fans, usually one of our best performers as well, so consistent, but he just didn't click for him today.
Yeah, with the love from the fans there, it's just because he's aesthetically pleasing and everything like that. But we already know with Kovacic, there's not really an end product with him. He's the best out of it, but it's like the best of a bad bunch. I think with him, there was an obvious struggle, but I can't really single him out when there was no creativity in general. I think we got our first goal came off of Conor Gallagher, fucking hell, his name stuck in my head after the last 10 minutes. But Thiago Silva assist in the first half. Second half, by the way, Christian Pulisic, who everyone says should be selling immediately, came on and got an assist in 10 minutes, while Mount and Havertz didn't even get a shot on target in 80. But we all know who the energy is going to be given to out of the three of them. We know there's the same old problems in attack. And I understand with Graham Potter that he's going to go for the more experienced options right now because he's new to the job. But the things that I ask of Tuchel are the same things I'm going to ask of Graham Potter. We have to see rotation in these games. And I do believe we'll see it now at least, because there's 3 games every week until the World Cup. But we need to see players not necessarily getting punished, but if you're not impacting a game, you can't be playing the next one. Because I keep saying, like I was saying at the start of the season, Mendy, Mount, Havertz, if you're not playing poorly, you should not be getting rewarded with starts. Now I need to see that for the next game, because you could say Havertz was okay, but it's like he still didn't impact the game, and all he had was like 1 shot in the first half. Mount didn't do anything again, but they're both probably going to start the next match, and that's where my problem's going to be. You need to rotate, and you need to let players know. Havertz, for an example, we benched him against West Ham. He came on and he scored straight afterwards. It had an impact on him. It made him come out, and he made him come out more motivated. That's the sort of stuff that we need to see more of.
I do get what you're saying. I do think in a lot of ways, though, we were trying to pass the ball forward, a lot more long balls, which I think, especially in the first half, we did really well. I think Crystal Palace struggled with. Aubameyang, I think we can see what kind of play he's going to be for us. Not an awful lot of link-up play. You know, he's not going to drop deep as much as maybe Havertz would in that position. But when he gets a chance, he scores a goal. And when you've only got 2 shots on target, you need those players to count.
But that's the difference between the pair of them. Like Havertz, when we played him as a 9, like everyone said, oh, he's not a number 9 and everything. Fact is, his movement was good. He got into the right positions. He just couldn't finish. Aubameyang, limited chances, he has already scored. And I get everyone was like on him because he had a slow start and everything like that, but he clearly said he wasn't match fit. Now he's had an extra 2, potentially 3 weeks off as well. He's come back and he already looks more sharper. All he needed was 1 chance to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's exactly what we're asking for. The only problem is just the same problem we've always had, creating chances. That's going to be what Potter has to sort out over the next few weeks. I'm not too surprised that we still had that same problem, even though it's frustrating, but I mean, it's up to him to get more out of the rest of the attackers, because we know what we can get out of Aubameyang, we know what we can get out of Sterling. The rest of them are just all question marks.
What about in terms of the defence, in terms of Kepa obviously starting? We know Mendy had a bit of an injury problem, so that makes sense. I think that's fairly obvious. But he's left out Koulibaly again, starting with Fofana. I think he won quite a lot of his individual battles. But to me, it doesn't really make sense why he's not starting Koulibaly. I think
Koulibaly's injured. I think.
Is he had a bit of an injury problem?
I think I remember seeing something before the game, so I think that's probably the issue. But defensively, probably our best part of the game, even though we were still a bit shaky in the first half. We were giving away balls in midfield and defence for fun, and the Fofana one led to the first goal and everything like that. But at least when it came to 1v1 defending, reading passing lanes and everything like that, we were still solid. But it was just on the ball where we still lack, and I don't know whether it's an individual issue or if it's a systemic problem, but again, it's early days on the Potter. I can't really sit here and be too angry about that sort of stuff when it's only his second game. It's his first home game for Chelsea, yeah.
Do you see us building on? Do you see us continuing to play the way we do and just nicking the results, or do you think we're going to progress over time?
I mean, right now, that's just going to be what we expect. I remember we were here this time in February after we won the Club World Cup, and I was saying the whole way through the end of the season, expect terrible performances like this because we have too many games and we have no creativity. We're now here again, and we're going to have too many games and we have no creativity. So it is just going to be a case of we need to scrape games as they go by, have moments of brilliance. We are individual brilliance FC again right now, but as soon as we sacked Thomas Tuchel, I think we accepted that. So it's just a case of how many games can we last like that? We have a good enough run of games. Take the Champions League games out of it. We've got Wolves, we've got Brentford, we've got Aston Villa. It's a winnable run of games up until Man United at the end of the month. But we don't make those teams look easy. That's the thing. We'll make Wolves look hard. We'll make Brentford look hard. Villa, I'm not really as sure because they don't really look that solid under Steven Gerrard and everything. But we could even make them look hard, and we did it both home and away last season anyway. So yeah, we're all individual Brilliance FC until we find some creativity within our midfield and our attack. At least we're bringing in Nkunku potentially next season to help solve that. But yeah, it's going to be a long season. I've been saying that for the last few weeks, and I think at least as long as we stay level-headed, we're not going to come out of games frustrated, but I wouldn't blame people for being frustrated either because we've seen this for the last year and a half.